Okay, so now verse 13. You shall not oppress your neighbor or rob him. The wages of a hired worker shall not remain with you all night until the morning. Don't oppress your neighbor. Don't rob your neighbor. Um, and robbing can be at different levels. I mean, you could see a robbery happening at your neighbor's house and you say, let me mind my own business. You've participated, Says the wages of a hired worker. Back then in Israel, people would work for a day's wages, and soon at the end of the day, they were handed their money. So it was not permitted for you to stay with somebody's salary or payment overnight, because when they worked for that day, they were looking forward to take money home to take care of their children. So when somebody is working for you and you're supposed to pay when you're supposed to pay, please pay when you're supposed to pay. It helps. I'm not saying they are not going to be mishaps, but you should make sure that you're doing it in such a way that this person does not remain in a really hard place. Say you were supposed to pay your maid or your gardener end of month, and your money hasn't come through where you were expecting to find money, but you have a couple of groceries in the house. Because of the inconvenience, you should pick a little thing, put your rice, your whatever, put it in a package, give this person and say to them, listen, I can't pay you this month, but can I give you this to sustain you for the week? Because I'm expecting the money to come at the end of the week. Then you are showing that you are loving your neighbor. It says you shall not curse the deaf or put a stumbling block before the blind, but you shall fear your God. I am the Lord. Verse 14. Don't curse the deaf because they can't hear you. Don't put a block in front of a blind person because they can't see you. But God is looking. God is seeing. Leviticus is so intense, man. Verse 15. You shall do no injustice in court. You shall not be partial to the poor or defer to the great, but in righteousness shall you judge your neighbor. You shall not go around as a slanderer among your people. You shall not stand up against the life of your neighbor. I am the Lord. You shall not hate your brother in your heart, but you shall reason frankly with your neighbor, lest you incur sin because of him. You could be caused to end up being in sin. You shall not take revenge or bear grudge against the sons of your own people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So standard of loving anyone is yourself. How much you love yourself is how you should love others. So it's a priority for you to love yourself so that you can use that as a standard for loving others.